Welcome. This is part 5 of the reading of Naruto Ultimate Harem Marmalade Party. It contains a certain scene that you will definitely recognize. And yes, I can be so random as to say a certain scene that you will recognize, and feel confident you will recognize it. Listener discretion is advised. Extremely advised. Day 8. Naruto opened his eyes and blinked. He was in the big tent Yakumo made yesterday, and Tokiwa and Goro and Hinata were on the cushion pile with him. The day before, he was of rest in his tent, with the girls cuddling with him and bringing in food to him, and Hinata always by his side. Other girls noticed of this, but still acted cheery, and he discovered that Risa and the other filler girl were very of the funny, and Hinata too, but he didn't get her jokes in the first listen. Sometimes the girls came in and told him what they were training on. Goro was saying of Shizune training her in taijutsu and sage mode, Isaribi of working in water jutsu with Samui, Sasame and Risa of being epic sparring fight, and Karen and Eureka for the planning, and Amy and most of the other girls say stuff of Yakumo and Kono to do of something with rocks. There was some kissing too, and of course Hinata kissed him, and Shizune too. But many of the girls just chat, run a hand over his chest. So the day passed with easy, just chilling. After Tamaki cuddled with him, he was telling her of Sasuke. He needed to go outside to stretch his legs. It was of night, with twinkly stars and good moon, and gentile breeze. But he was being heard of the rock sliding noise. He knows since anyone on mountain, and then perceived that it was from near wall in base. He walked over, his kunai ready, seeing over the faint light. But when he crept behind him, he saw a girl with long hair holding a rock in hand. Yakumo! But she was off focus and didn't notice him. She made concentration gruntings, and then of the rock was being burst by a Rasengan. Naruto was shocked. Yakumo picked up a big piece of the rock and started to make the Rasengan again. It scattered the rock with a smashy burst, the Rasengan being of good shape. Yakumo's chakra was off cool, silvery white, and it was windy of her. He then see was starlight. He was in a sizable puzzle of rock, and nearly breathing loud. He stared surprised at her for a few minutes, and she continued to practice, and then went back off to the tent. As he looked in, he sees Tamaki no longer in. So, in the morning, he wakes up the girls and lead them out for breakfastings. It was talking meal of happy, Naruto seeing the girls get along good, and they ate their cereal. Naruto felt good now, and spoke with his leader voice. I have decided today is the day for us to move out again. It's been a while, so today will be of the tough battling, to ensure, I'll be able to face Toby. So after we're done here, let's warm up and get ready to go out. Anyone in particular you're shooting for? Asked the other filler girl, whose name Naruto heard was Bachiko. She flipped her camouflage hair over her shoulder. Yup, I've got to think of to do for Kakashi-sensei. Oh, says Shizune. The girls looked surprised, but Naruto nodded. I think we could do it. Honest, I really mean it. You guys are great, Kunoichi, so talented it's crazy. Toby and Kabuto don't stand a chance. If Toby wants unity, we have it. He attacks our nations and threatens our people with slavery and death. That only makes it a turn cycle of hate. It's madness. So we must be a team, and I know we can defeat Toby once and for jizz. Tenten shouted, yeah! And the girls gave noddings of agreement. The rest of breakfast ascended like a penis in denial of the vaginas, and in truth searching for the orgasm of truth. Then the girls got up and the Naruto clothes, put away the dishes, and began to stretch. Naruto nodded to Shizune, who walked back over to her tent. What's our angle for this one? Sasame asked. To get in close, we have good jutsu, but remember Kakashi has the Sharingan, so he might copy them. So, Hinata and Shizuka, could you hide in front? They nodded, and Naruto turned to Karen. So, could I fly with you? Karen blushed a bit and nodded, and turned around for him. Naruto saw her buttocks, which had a good shapings, and he began to touch himself and got a shape. It was like buttery pecan to enter the Harem's oopsie, a girly tube of being comfy fit. So they all got in a big flight formation, bending down as fingers went into poopsies, and kunai ready for attacking. They took off, Karen guiding them off to the 44th training ground, close to the tower. "He's right on the top floor," Hinata said. But as they approached it, cons flew up from the forest. They poofed into big-ass animals, which several girls rode on. Wink, wink. The girls jumped off and onto the back of a bird that swooped in, but all the animals made a battle formation of their own. But Yakumo wasn't fooled. She saw through the genjutsu and dispelled it like a boss. But then there was the problem of Kakashi actually appearing with his harem. It was not quite as big as Naruto's, but Naruto saw a good, strong shinobi in it, as if Anko and Kunai and the beach from Iwa he remembered from the Hokage summit, something like Katsuchi. The attackings were begun right away. With lots of kunai being thrown. There was deflectings like bursts of fireworks, and the two harems flew around the tower like moths to the flame of destiny. Finally, Kerem took them up to center on top of the tower, where Amy launched a barrage of fire chakra kunai, and then Shizuka used a wind jutsu to make huge fireballs with them and flying faster, explodicating into rivers of fire. It beat singeing cloths of forehead, protectors, and hair, but Kakashi dodged. It was of make a big fire of force, though. Now that Kakashi was of being in front of fire and only hovering, Naruto got a better look at his harem. There was a ninja he remembered of old that Kakashi kissed, but he forgot her name at the moment, and Sakura. Naruto gasped and was become of want to win fight even more. I can tell you this for the nervous, Naruto, but I'm going to take this for serious and repose any bigger than the blast of Konoha crater was. Naruto made grimacy face, but gives secret signal to Amy and Eureka to use of a big jutsu. Fire style! Crimson Tide! Then there was an epic surge of fire from the forest, and it stretched up and swept back at Kakashi's harem. He didn't seem to expect this, and began to fly to the side, but of course Naruto flew to it with him, and the attackings began. They had locked up almost as of rugby, but Goro was surprised strong and backhanded Yugao Uzuki from Kakashi's harem. The battle was of intentions, with Shizuka of using a roaring gale shot that knocked into Kakashi's harem, one girl getting a whole shoulder, and the rest of shaking to make Kakashi move aside. Still, Naruto used of good range. And Machiko and Tamaki and Tintin threw bunches of kunai, like a flock of pubic lice migrating to the wall with a velocity vagina. So of course he fly around to Dojian, but Amy made of a cricket jutsu. It was for strands of fire, so those shot out and wrapped up the legs of the bottom girls of Kakashi's harem. Then Shizuka was of to use a jutsu gale fan, and it blew Kakashi into the big super fire behind them. Yakumo had a frowny, worried look on her face. Oh boy. And there was a big blow of steam, and Kakashi's girls came out of the fire, and Anko was using her snake hands technique. It was of surprise, and it grabbed onto lots of the arms and legs of Naruto's girls, and 5.2 of them grabbed Yakumo and threw her into the tower, to the breaking of the wall. Goro broke free and threw a kani to free Tintin, who used a scroll to blast lots of snakes away with big kunai barrage. Then Anko was of the stop the snake hands, and Kakashi's girls did a beastie and flew around, though Naruto and his girls followed soon, and they came to the other side of river away from the fire. Looks like I'll have to get serious now that things are heating up, Kakashi said. There was an anime glowings of light as he gave surge of chakra to his girls. And then he did a big jutsu. Nigger art, spiral fusion jutsu. Then there was a big anime sequence of where his harem connects with chakra by skin contact into big human shape. Sakura was now of torso, and Kurenai was too, and Kuratsuki, and another ninja was being for the arms, and Anko was the penis. The ninja Kakashi of Kist, who Naruto now was called Hanare, was the head. Then Kakashi flew forwards in his new formation and began very strong tuggings with their arms. Hinata and Shizuka were for being of the hurt, but they still fight too.
It has to be me that faces Tobi Kakashi-sensei.
I know you have the chosen one, Naruto, but if you can't beat me, then how can you expect it of Tobi? Come at me, bro. It was no Naruto that come eat Kakashi, but Goro and Risa who jumped at him from Hinata and Shizuka. Goro gave huge beatings, and Naruto was to hear things snap and break when Shizuka was for hits. But Kakashi did a small jutsu that used the wind to blow them back at Naruto, and his girls maneuvered to catch them. They went in for more attackings, but before they could zoom too far, Anko stretched and snakes came in her mouth, going all the way at another surprise jutsu that wrapped around Naruto and his harem. They squeezed tight as if a 9-year-old's girly tube, and then was of swords pop from the snake mouths to stab and slice some of the girls. Then Kuratsuki and the left arm girl did hand signs together, and there was big anime energy lines gather around them. Prepare to see how far you've got to go, Naruto. I wish you were the best, but this is not your time. It was painy, but Naruto and Karen tried to fly and smash Kakashi's harem to the tower, but the girls of Kakashi's harem flew back, which made the snakes and swords hurt more. Then Kakashi made hand sign, and Naruto gulped and began to fear at the moment of the jutsu firing big electric anime laser. Yakumo leapt off the tower and hit Kakashi with a Rasengan. It broke up the spiral fusion jutsu, and it sent flying as if crazy, falling to ground, and the background music stopped. Beni Soubi. She was of land next to Kakashi, and she made of another Rasengan, and was for mounting Kakashi to slam of his face. She held close, but when she pulled back her arms, Kakashi held up his hand. It seems I was wrong after all. I've been defeated, Naruto. Then Naruto pulled from Karen, instead of heavy breathing on his buttocks. Everyone was hurt, and after then a moment, Naruto remembered.
The Anbu lady, she's still in the fire.
Naruto wiped off his anus as he stand, and he ran over to the fire to look for Yugao. Flaming trees was crossed to fall off his path, but he remembered of where she fell and sprinted. The smoke made of coughing him some, and he was feeling like a Jew, but he see of place where she'd fallen ahead, and did his best to sprint to it.
Can you hear me?
Yugao's head turned aside and said,
Bleh. Oh no, this is bad. Oh, she lasts long enough to get to Sakura.
Ops. There was more trees collapsing and sap making sparky pops, but Naruto dodges them and makes it back to the tower, leaping over the river and making back to the harems. They were all together now. Sakura was already coming over, and Naruto put Yugao down and let Sakura work. Naruto saw that Yugao's shape very athletic and ladylike, even though she had lots of burns. Sakura was focused and made a globe of chakra and used that for healing, and it worked some. Yugao gave pained moanings, writhing like she was a bad dream, and Naruto held her still for Sakura, trying to be careful so he not squeeze her tits too hard. In just a couple of minutes, Yugao was healed, and it seemed for a moment things would be better, but then Sakura collapsed on top of her.
Sakura!
There was feeling of ultimate crisis then, with Sakura injured, and flames being of giant Walla Walla, but then he heard Shizune say, I got here as fast as I could. But what? Shizune? Then there was something different about Shizune's eyes to Naruto, but he couldn't see. I sensed the chakra of the battle and smelled smoke. Shizune looked around and saw all was heard. Then she made a couple of hand signs and did her palm to the ground. Sage Heart, reverse cycle! Then an anime glow spread under the glass, and Naruto felt like a floating on warm cotton, his wound healing. And the grass and shrubs and the glowy circle grew a little bit too. Then the glow stopped, and Naruto felt healthy and strong again, and saw the girls were looking at themselves, and did too. Everyone good? Shizune asked. A little bit more on my back, if you would, said Kakashi, as he turned over, and Shizune used the mystical palm jutsu, finishing his heal. Mind telling me what I got hit with? He said to Yakumo.
A Rasengan.
Yakumo saved shyness. Kakashi and his girls looked surprised faces, and with mouth and eyebrow shockings. But then Kurenai was of smile, saying, "You've come far, Yakumo." And Naruto and Shizune nodded of agreeings.
All my girls have learned a lot.
Naruto said. Kurasuke nodded. Almost hate to admit it, but you leave Goldwich out some sharp tricks. I've learned some too. All the girls was nod, and after calm breaths, Kakashi and everyone began to look at Naruto.
What?
Will you choose anyone from my team, Naruto? Kakashi asked.
I choose Sakura,
Naruto said. He saw Kakashi grin big enough to see under his mask, and a couple of his girls giggled. Naruto began to blush, then turned his head away and coughed. But to his surprise, Sakura turned his head to her and being of kiss.
I'll be glad to join your group, Naruto. You're a hero and a great shinobi. I'm glad it's you.
Sakura gave Naruto a quick pecker on his cheek. There were more calm breaths, then Kakashi asked, "Anyone need a recharge?" "Nope," said Kakashi's girls that Naruto didn't recognize. "That Jutsu of Shizune's need the trick."
"Yeah, and I could feel like I could do a sprint around Konoha,"
said Risa and Hana like twins.
"Did someone say sprint around Konoha?"
asked Lee, shining of youthiness as he popped up from a bush.
"Okay, so maybe they was exaggerating, but I could sprint to Ramen and Jiraku,"
Naruto compostulated. There was voice actor murmur of agreement among all, and Lee headed off with him to get lunch. It was big happy lunch, with many of Naruto's friends and academy classmates there, Choji and Ino, and even Tamari. For a time it was no teams, but only friends. After flying back to base on the Hokage's head, the girls pushed Naruto and Sakura into Naruto's big tent. Naruto began to blush like strawberry jam on a biscuit, and Sakura did too, knowing what this was for Naruto and not wanting to ruin the moment. It was of awkward silence for both, but Naruto guided Sakura to the cushion pile, but as he put his elbow down for support near the side, it made a jar of something give way, and so Sakura fell on him. She gave a little chuckle and began to feel of Naruto's chest with her fingers. Hold on a minute, Sakura, I have some stuff on my elbow. Yeah, I heard a jar just now. Sakura looked to the side and got the beginnings of an idea.
Naruto, close your eyes.
Naruto do best to hold a nosebleed and obeyed Sakura. She picked up the jar and see it was of being for the contain with lemon marmalade. One of his girls must have left it in here. Sakura then lifted up Naruto's arm and put her mouth on his elbow, sucking off the marmalade. Yum! Then Sakura took a bit and dipped of her being used pointer finger and smeared it on Naruto's lips.
Sakura, what is this?
But Naruto's questions were silenced by a citrusy sexing by Sakura's lips. Her tongue playing with Naruto's and licking the marmalade off it, the sticky lemoniness fueling the kiss. It rubbed onto Sakura's lips too, and Naruto moaned as he went for it passionately. After a few bits, the lemony good was gone.
Now it's time for you to close your eyes,
Naruto said. He got the jar and dipped Sakura's fingers into it. He guided her delicate digits to his shape, which left us a joyous stag at the touch, and as he guided Sakura's hand around the shaft of his shape, Naruto stopped and caressed Sakura's hand, and licked the marmalade off it.
How about a lemon zinger, Sakura?
Naruto straddled her face and guided his big shape into Sakura's waiting and eager mouth. Sakura tasted the marmalade and began to taste a bit of him, his lemony snicketing in her mouth. as she squeezed the lemon of Naruto's shape into her mouth as she opened wide to get it all in, marmishing a big gulp of taste and sexing with her tongue to help her swallow it. Naruto gorged harder and harder, and then he called Sakura's name as he began to feel throbbing of orginess, and tried to back up, but Sakura squeezed his buttocks and held him on her mouth filling with bittersweet lemony gooiness. Sakura swallowed it all. Golden yellow trails go from Naruto's shape as he pulled from Sakura's mouth. He still had a big he still had boner, so he grabbed lemon marmalade and got a big glob of it, smearing Sakura's pussy in anus like of a jam on a biscuit with big lusting. Sakura gasped at the touch, and Naruto dove for her fly girly tube. The lemony marmalade got in interesting places in Sakura's pussy, but Naruto dug out with fingers and licked of lemony riches with tongues. Naruto! Then it was Naruto's turn to get gooey lemon love juice on his face, and he laced it all off Sakura's pussy and her girly button. There was magic of Anus's first hair in the room. Naruto flipped Sakura over onto her stomach and pulled her up to her knees, the lemony of on her anus exposed to him. He went to get it gently, carefully licking in from her firm buttocks to her anus, circling around it with passion of lusty cuckoo, tongue dipping in like a hummingbird. Sakura jerked with a small sexing.
Yes. Naruto, get inside my anus already.
Naruto paused and was being of for the idea. He got another glob of lemon marmalade and lubed up, slicking his shape with it. He spread apart Sakura's buttocks with it, and began to of a sexing he dreamed of for his whole life. He grunted for the slow sexing at first of a small to fitting. You like this, Naruto?
Yes, so good. Dance with more of it. Take it, take it, take it.
Sakura repeated, going back out to sex herself on Naruto, really getting into the feel of his shape of being inside her anus, like the blissful poopings of lust in a snowstorm. Drink. And after more of the gorings and poopings, once more yellow snow fell on the hidden valley. Why is the rum almost gone? Naruto's shape was beginning to get numb and tired, but Sakura rolled over onto her back after Naruto came out of her and pulled him down for kissings, saying her sexing were only of beginning. They were hungry kissings like Naruto wouldn't think of from Sakura, and she grinded against him. Naruto's shape was still a bit throbby, and there was an achy dusting in it, but Sakura could tell of this.
Do it! Go for it, Naruto!
She gave him a kiss, feeling Naruto's shape of press on her belly.
I want this now. I really want it. Please. Naruto.
Sakura kissed Naruto the horny, giving for of his lip a tiny dip with the being of using teeth. Naruto decided it was time to go for the 3-cheese orgy, and put it straight into Sakura's pussy. He groaned, and Sakura bucked up towards him, already sexing him.
Sex me raw, Naruto,
Sakura said as she looked right into his eyes. Naruto was doing that of the now, going deep as the curse of hatred he fought war against, faster than the flying thunder god jutsu, and with the fury of a man whose WOW account was deleted. But Sakura held up good, sexing herself, to put legs around Naruto's back and pulled towards him. The heat of his shape in a girl tube was fit of her anus wanted to seem closer to her heart, of warmer. She gave a groan like a tiger in the heat, clawing of Naturo's shoulders to sex him in her hardest, was of sexing like none before or after, and Naruto ordered up his first slice of a big 3-cheese orgy. So, after he came out from Sakura, she turned over and noticed he was still having some marmalade on his shave. She squiggled down to his penis and began to clean it off with mouth fixings, massaging his boots too. Licking her lips, she stood on her knees and picked up the jar of marmalade and began to scoop it out onto herself, rubbing it in a thick layer over her breasts and smearing it down her front all the way to her pussy herself, massaging the fruitiness into her nipples and moaning, "Naruto, I'm so dirty. Come clean me off." Naruto pulled her off and rolled to the top, getting marmalade on himself too, as he sexed Sakura's nipples clean with lemon sexiness, feeling sticky and sexy as she licked him too. Sexually. Naruto ran his hands through Sakura's hair, pulling it back and kissing her mouth and throat before they journeyed down to her testicles. But Sakura grabbed Naruto's face and kissed him, bobbing down and licking up the marmalade on Naruto's chest as we swayed her hips on him. And for minutes their tongues were like migrant penises thrusting into the vaginal unknown, searching for the next frontier.
You can have my isolation base. You can have the hate that it brings.
They were each covered in a mess of love juice and sticky lemony marmalade film, as if they had ascended through a sea of golden jizz that broke on the shores of love. Naruto almost passed out from the awkward vault to wash up place on the base. But Samui gave a slap of the buttocks which lightened him up. Some of the girls looked up, Isuribi and Yakumo and Amy and Risa. "Training anyone?" They all nodded. And Bachiko joined them for light sparrings. Naruto saw at Risa how she reminded him of Shizuka would leave with her attackings, and the other girls were of nice reflexes, but not really good of the taijutsu. He knew Yakumo was of more for the genjutsu though, so it was of making clones. But then after other girls see and start of train, Naruto perceived there was not enough room on the Hokage's head. After anime looks of confirmed this, they all mounted up as with eagle's wings and headed to one of the fresh training grounds. There was lots of room now, and they leapt and crisscrossed the trees in the field. As he zipped around, he saw Goro working on strikes with Shizune and Sakura. Isrubi with Samui again. Eureka and Cowan were strategizing now. With Tintin, they combed them out for angles and plan. But Naruto was a focus, for he dueled Risa, Shizuka, and Hana. Excuse me. It was tough attackings with Shizuka and Risa, but he was for no much clonings of it, and Hana was smelled to his hidings. He made shadow clones to start for drive them to open area. You see, the other girls were just chillaxing and not training. So he was of stopped fighting with Risa and asked of Tokiwa what's going on.
"Oh, we just up in this, loving this space, you heard. We're just loving it."
"Yo, what you got playing with Naruto?" asked Tamaki.
"Bitches, we gonna play tag, and that's what's up. Suck it."
Immediately, Tokiwa and Isuribi began to suck at Naruto's penis going through Tokiwa's skull and into Isuribi's mouth. And then Sakura grabbed it and put it into her girdle tube, and it came from her mouth and anus, and sexed Samui between her breasts and in her girdle tube. But then Naruto felt of a pain in his symbol, and when he blinked he was with other girls, and Risa was standing over him with a mean smile.
"Oh, good. That wasn't a genjutsu. Though I kinda want to sex Samui's boobies now. So, who's ready for the game to catch Naruto? It'll be a test of tracking and hand-to-hand skills. If you find me, it's 1 point, tag me as 2, and finding the real me wins you the game."
"Sounds fun," Shizune said, and the other girls agreed of the noddings with her.
"And we'll join too," said Konohamaru.
They all turned to find him of walk from behind a tree. With Hanabi Hyuga and a girl of piss-green hair, Katie Yoshino. But then Konohamaru was of being to see that all was naked. And he got a nosebleed that boosted him away a few feet onto his back.
Do I even want to know what we're interrupting?
Hanabi said as she blushed and looked over her feet.
We're only training, it's no bigsy.
Said Sakura. Katie was of to slapping Konohamaru to wake him.
Sister, how does a view get from father?
Asked Hinata.
Well, I'm beginning now, so technically...
Hanabi blushed more.
He doesn't have to know.
Konohamaru was up again, starting with the obvious at Naruto's feces.
So, what do I win once I find the real you? Well, how about a private trading session?
Quotation marks, ... quotation marks.
Okay, fine, winner gets a kiss.
Then all the girls cheered, and Naruto sighed and made the Jutsu sign, poofing into a few dozen clones. They all ran off into the forest, and the girls looked amongst themselves and ran off.
Aren't you gonna go with him?
Asks Katie, for the talking of with Shizune.
Oh, I'll just relax, Katie, after a bit.
Don't you want to find Naruto?
It would be pretty easy to find him. Us Jonin have expert tracker skills, yo?
Oh, wow, you're a nigger.
Uh-huh, Shizune trained me into one.
But then Shizune went still, ignoring Katie until the latter skipped after Konohamaru and Hanabi. A little later, Yakumo came back to sit with her, just as Shizune opened her eyes.
Nice eyeshadow. Oh, thanks. Gonna look for Naruto now?
Yup. Yakumo nodded, and paused to restify her eyes after the genjutsu for a bit, and when she opened them, Shizune was gone. Then Yakumo decided to start looking again. Naruto was not the one from Tintin, who'd already spotted him about and owned trying to fag him. Of many times she used scrolls to unleash weapons, and used wire strings to manipulate them to attempt to fag Naruto. In a big anime chase sequence, Tintin rode on rocket-powered anus leaf, maneuvering it like skateboard to zoom around in front of Naruto.
Alright, Naruto,
said Tintin.
I'd like that kiss. So you think this is the real me?
Yep. Then kick my poops and see. But as Tintin flew off to strike Naruto in his crotchular area, he puffed like a magic dragon and disappeared.
Ah, poo.
Elsewhere, Hinata came upon the scene of all the people in Yakumo's genjutsu, and Shino saw Naruto among them and considered waking them up. But 'twas only a moment before she moved on her Byakugan of telling that Naruto was nearby. She snuck up to behind the tree he rested on, but he saw her. He leaped up to run, but Hinata used a speed boost jutsu and caught him.
I've got you.
She landed as of a penis cloud on the dew of an angel, and held his hand in her anus for the love strings.
Maybe next time, Hinata.
Then Naruto piffed away in a cloud of smoke. Naruto laughed to himself. He was abusing the transformation jutsu to look like Hana. He skipped gaily from tree limb to tree limb, and then hopped down to do a smack-sit dance against a tree. But Shizune stepped out of it and tagged him.
What how's how you do that?
It be traveling jutsu, and Shizune now see her own eyes through Naruto's reflection of seeing her eyes, and how they were of being with the red marks around. I'll just take my kiss whenever you want it.
Oi, so you think this is the really real one?
I know so. I can sense chakra like this. I think he was a brute before Naruto could speak, before Shizune took him up on her shoulders to retrieve them.
Say, Dot, this valley driver!
She jumped off the limb, and then the DVD was connected with the ground, making an anime dust explosion, leaving a big crater. But Naruto never disappeared.
Okay, so you're right, this is the real me. Could you heal me? My neck.
Oops. So Shizune used the whatever green glowy jutsu to heal Naruto's neck, and he said thanks with an anime grumpy face, using his clothes to tell of being found by Shizune, and then they went back to his penis base of the Hokage's head for relaxing at night.